Rangers of Shadowdeep by Joseph A. McCullough. In our last episode, we played through Mission 3 of Scenario 3. Oh, no, I got it the other way around. It's Mission 3. Yeah, we played Scenario 3 of Mission 3, The Last Stand. I think I called it the Farmhouse. This is a ruined farmhouse, and it's a bit of a tower defense. Man, we had swarms of bad guys coming at us from all over the place. We had to play a full 12 turns, and we had 11 figures on the table for the heroes at one point, not to mention all of the figures that were on the table for the bad guys. Unfortunately, it was brutal, and it went long, so to kind of tighten things up a little bit, we stopped. But we still have all of the post-battle sequence that we have to do. This is a campaign game, after all, and it's a solo campaign, so you can do that. You can say, look, it's late. I got to get going, brother. All right, so what do we do what's our process that we step through for campaign games? And I think the order of operations kind of depends on the way the scenario is prepared. In the case of The Last Stand, we had 3 Eternian soldiers helping us. All 3 of them fell to the bad guys. That's unfortunate, because for every Laurenthian that's still alive at the end of the scenario, you get 8 experience points. Probably should have tried to keep some of those guys alive. Now, the good news is we had 4 civilians over here. 1, 2, and for civilians, I actually used some crewmen from one of my, he's carrying a cannonball there. One of my cannons for the Black Powder era. It's fine. It's fine. In fact, my priest and my good wife come from irregular miniatures. Hey, we got those 4. So that's 32 experience points for surviving. Then we also get, now we should take a look at the creatures that we killed. And there were a lot of them. We wound up killing a total of 6 of the gnolls. Now, I'm using these frog and lizard guys for gnolls. Did we kill 3 zombies? I guess we did. These are the guys I had in my dead pile. It's only 2 experience points for those, 2 experience points for the fly, and 8 for the burrow worm. So that's 34 experience points for a grand total of 66 XP. That ain't too bad. Now, the XP goes directly to our ranger, old Thundar the Barbarian. He was parked on 415, so he's going to go up to a grand total of 481 points now. That is not enough experience points to go up a level. We don't have any power-ups for Thundar, but it might not matter because we have to do the next part, and that is roll on the survivor table. Each of our 3 fallen heroes. Now again, the Eternian soldiers, they're just dead. They're not heroes like these guys are heroes. So I got to roll 3 times on the table. We're going to start with Ukla. Ukla has died in each of the last 3 missions. Let's see if we can keep his streak alive. On a 9 or better, he makes a full recovery. He does. So we're going to move Ukla on over here. I'm going to pull him in front of the cemetery, just to remind me that he died, because he's only going to get 1 progression point. Now I'm going to roll for He-Man. Let's see if he can survive. He-Man survives. He makes a full recovery. He will be able to participate in the next battle. He only gets 1 progression point. Ariel over here is going to get 2 progression points. We'll get to that in a minute. And now for the big one. If we roll a 1 or a 2, Thundar the Barbarian is dead. And I'll have to take a look at what that means for our campaign. And with a 19, you saw me roll it here, he makes a full recovery. Whew. I'm actually a little disappointed. There's a part of me that wants to see what happens when we get one of these permanent injuries, but that's not this day. We'll keep playing. We're going to hit one sooner or later. We got to, right? None of our companions earns that all-important 20th progression point. They're at 15 for Ariel, and Ukla is at 12. He-Man is at 13. You get 2 points for surviving, 1 point just for participating. So we're done with experience points. But we did manage to secure 2 treasures, thanks to our man in the gray coat and Princess Ariel, who finished the exercise lugging these treasures around. So we get to make 2 rolls on the treasure table here. Just like you see, the first one is going to be 8. We have got an herb or potion, and 2 is going to be gold and jewels. In this case, we look at the herbs and potion table. We roll that d20, and we get 2, which is a Farlight Leaf, +1 shoot, but -1 fight and -1 will. Oh, so we get some of the good stuff, man. We got some drugs. For the golden jewels, a valuable stash. When they have, the ranger may choose to either gain 10 XP or have one of his companions gain 1 progression point. We're going to be greedy this time. We're going to take the XP. That puts us at 491. So after the next scenario, I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to level up one more time. And what is that scenario, I hear you say? Well, from scenario 3, we turn the page, and that's going to be our random event cards, plus some nice full-color art. And then we go right to the bestiary. There is no scenario 4, or is there? If you read this little section down here, check this out. If players wish to make this, any figures that survive the attack will eventually escape back to post-apocalyptic Earth, the land of He-Man, or land of Thundar. If players wish to make this more challenging or continue the adventure, they may play scenarios 1 and 2 again with the heroes and any Eternian survivors retreating across the tables. In other words, instead of just calling it quits here and say, yeah, I guess we made it back, we're going to play through this scenario again. Remember, last time we were at the bottom of the long stairs and we had to get across the table. This time, we're going to start on the north edge of the table, and we're trying to get across to the south edge and get to the stairs. And after we've done that, we're going to go play the long stair again. And this time, instead of going, well, in our case, we went from right to left going down, we'll go from left to right going up. To complicate matters even further, where before we could just race right across the table, this time, we are going to have 4 Eternians in tow. What this means, there's a couple of other wrinkles that aren't really elucidated in this, but I'm going to rule that because we're not playing the full 12 turns of trying to keep them alive, for every scenario I keep these Eternians alive, I'm going to get 4 experience points for each of those civilians that makes it across the table. And then I'm going to look at this again, and for example, where we were in the swamp, we already successfully mapped the land, so we can't earn that 5 experience points again. However, we can earn experience, but we didn't find the signet ring, so we can, I think, what is the spell being identified? I don't think we did that either. So I can earn those experience points. I have a second chance to do that. Likewise, with the long stairs, we didn't recover a love letter. That's one of the random events. I have a second chance to recover that love letter, but again, I already successfully mapped the stairs, so I'm not going to get experience points for that. So you do have to give this a little bit of thought and make it your own. One of the great things about Rangers of Shadowdeep, one of the things I really appreciate is that a lot of guys have played this on the YouTubes already. Of course, what's his face, the Canuck over there at Gorilla Miniatures game, I'm drawing a blank on his name now. Ash, that's the guy. He was probably one of the first because he's part of the Joseph A. McCullough clique. But there's a bunch of other guys that have, and I recommend you go look at those because it's kind of nice to see how different players sit down and come up with their own little spin on the scenarios, how the different... for the long stairs, for example, how do you represent a 60-degree tilt to your table in a way that is both visually interesting and how do they actually play through the scenario? What strategies do they use? What difference does it make? The fact that I've got a whole bunch of poorly armored guys makes it really easy for me to get across the swamp. I'm making swim checks left, right, and center because I don't have any tanks. Notice, not having any tanks means I make a lot of survival rolls, and I've been really lucky on that. I've seen guys play and they go heavy on the archers, which is nice because you can reach out and touch the enemy before he has a chance to do the same to you. A lot of depth to this game. A lot of different ways you can play it. I think there's probably a lot of replayability to the game as well. If you take a different style of Ranger into the Shadowdeep, you can have an entirely different experience. I know this is a short one today. What are you going to do? I didn't want to have an hour and a half video. That's just too much. You guys are driving to work. You got family stuff going on, so kind of my gift to you. And also, this is a cheap, easy way for a little more content. Hey, I'm praying for you.